Hello everyone, Tony here, finally bringing you the deck profile that you've been promised almost half a year ago. That's 6 months, or in COVID years, 20. So we have Jeremiah here presenting his Dark Magician deck. So Jeremiah, as you know, also goes by Leo Cantus. So subscribe to his YouTube channel so we can convince him to do a Dark Magician only channel, right? Where he can give you updates or concepts. Whatever it is, you can request it from him, and then we can trash him together. So, Jeremiah, introduce yourself with your amazing voice.
Oh, what's up, guys? It's your boy, the real Mago Negro. Don't cancel me, but seriously, I'm sorry, guys. It's been a really long time. Time kind of got away from me, but I'm here, and I have my Dark Magician deck, and we're ready to go.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, so from the top. I mean, this one's self-explanatory, honestly. I mean, if you're not doing this, even I'll say you're playing this deck wrong. But you got to play 3 Dark Magicians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it has to be this Dark Magician. It's the best art in the game, honestly, like, hands down.
Oh, you're talking about art-wise?
Oh, yeah.
So despite him looking like he needs a GoFundMe to fix his face, you opted to use this one over Arcanite, the Arcanum one. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Right? Everybody's entitled to their opinions. It's just, it's bad that yours looks like he's suffering from syphilis in the face. You may continue.
We will leave that up to the fans.
Sure.
Comment down below and let us know whether you prefer my wonderful art or that,
You're not going to win this.
a 50-cent
You're not gonna win
card that he has.
Mine is literally more expensive.
Well, I mean, back to the explanation.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. So, honestly, I feel that when you play Dark Magician, there are some people who like to play 2. I mean, they like to live dangerously. But I prefer to play 3. He's so important to the deck. I mean, he is the deck, honestly. He's basically almost like his own engine piece. So, to be comfortable, I would say play 3. The last thing you want to do is play 2. Your opponent DD crows you a few times, and before you know it, you're sitting there caught with your pants down. So, definitely go with 3. And the start, of course. But, moving on. Okay, so these next cards can actually be a bit controversial together, because not only do I opt to play Dark Magician Girl, but I also chose to play after a few testing both Palladium Oracle Mahad, yes I know, and Palladium Oracle Mana. So there's lots of arguments against these 2 cards in particular, mostly because they're kind of clunky, but there's just so much about the Dark Magician deck that's available now that it almost feels like a crime not to at least try them, because they give you so much advantage with later plays, and I'll definitely show that to you later. So, moving along. The next card I chose to play is very important to the deck, but not so important where you want to see it too much. I opted to play 2 Apprentice Illusion Magicians. Honestly, you want to go for 2 because one of the main things that this deck does as far as moving Dark Magician around is to send him directly to the graveyard with a really beautiful card that I will probably just gush over later. But you don't want to miss out on the Honest effect, and she's really great for Link fodder, honestly. I mean, it's a free special summon, but you also don't want to have your hand clogged with too many high-level monsters, even if you do have the ability to sift through the deck. So I'd say 2 is a good number.
Right. There's such thing as something that's too much of a good thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Believe it or not, even in Dark Magician. But moving on. So I'm sorry for the budget players that may be watching this. I'm really sorry, but I had to save up to get it too, and I advise you to do the same, because this card is practically as much of a heart and soul of the deck as the Dark Magician himself, and the best version of playing this deck would definitely be with 3 Magician Souls. Like, I mean, I don't know what better way to say it, but this card makes so many things happen. I understand it's expensive. The price keeps going up. It is in desperate need of a reprint, but honestly, I don't think there's any other way that you could possibly play this deck to its full potential without Magician Souls. So, because of Magician Souls, there's so much you can get away with. So, as you remember, I said before that I opted to play these cards. Now, under normal circumstances, any one of these cards could become like really bad for the deck. You more often than not, you don't want to see them in hand. But with Magician Souls, you have the ability to set up future plays. You can literally send mana to the graveyard and she becomes live. Any effect that targets a spellcaster, she's there, even if it's not something bad. I mean, if your opponent, I don't know, like targets them with any card, she's there on the field. While she doesn't offer great blanket protection, she's also a card that floats. But the most importantly, they also set up massive advantage later with Soul Servant, and I'll explain in detail when I eventually get to it. But this card moves Dark Magician like no other. It's a wonderful. So if you guys have to save $5, $10, a penny every day until you can afford this card, you really need to play this card. And I'll actually show other combo pieces as we go along.
Okay, so 3 Magician Souls, vital to the deck. It's like Dark Magician's brain where he's the heart.
Yes, absolutely. That's actually a really great way to put it. Like, it's just wonderful. And speaking of brains and hearts, because the deck doesn't function well without it, you definitely have to play 3 Magician's Rods. I mean, Rod is basically what gets everything going. It is the most valuable normal summon in this deck, and if you don't have the right cards in hand, this card is the deck. It searches for all your spells and traps that mentions Dark Magician in its effect text. It's kind of, honestly, now that I say it out loud, it actually sounds ridiculous of like how wide that search is, but the card's amazing. And even more so, you can even spam it when it's in the graveyard and you do all your chains to your opponent's cards. You can tribute a card to bring it back, and it's just
Side note, Konami, ultra rare copies, please. I want my whole deck to match rarity.
Absolutely. And there are the few other cards in this deck that need to be ultra rare too, but we'll get on that later.
I think we have the same spell card in mind.
Oh, yeah. So, definitely 3 need to. Absolutely. So, the next card is also a little bit of a controversial piece, and honestly, it feels like I opted not to play this card at one point, and after playtesting with Tony, it was just one of those scenarios where you don't miss your water until your well runs dry. But 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So you might find some arguments with other players that this card ultimately weakens the Dark Magician deck because people just immediately assume that the best way to play this deck is to just go for the Red Eyes package for Dragoon. But this card offers so much utility for Dark Magician and its fusions that ironically all involve dragons that this card is probably one of the coolest cards in the deck, and it's honestly not even a Dark Magician card, honestly. So if you have any doubts, I advise you guys to experiment with this. The combos with this card is totally essential.
Because, like, something as simple as opening with, like, Keeper, Dark Magician, and, like, Secrets of Dark Magic can turn into a Dragoon and a Dark Magician and Dragonite.
Yeah.
Now your opponent can't do anything.
Exactly. You know,
this was one of my favorite additions to the deck, despite it not saying Dark Magician. I played 3 in my version as well, so you're definitely a great choice.
It just moves Dark Magician like no
And
other.
his art is sick. Like
honestly.
literally. Like, he looks like, all right, you want to attack the homie Dark Magician? Give me your feet. Like,
right. Like, right? I mean, but yeah, like, definitely at 3. At least 2, but I would opt to play 3. Find space for our playset, guys. Definitely.
All right.
And honestly, I play Dragoon.
Yeah, no explanation needed.
There's no explanation here. I mean, honestly, this card doesn't belong here, but for Dragoon, I'm sorry, Joey, but this is really all I got for you. But yeah. All right, moving on to spell cards. Start with one of the more staple cards. I have to play 3 dark magical circles. Uh, at some point in the near future, the number might change, but I feel right now 3 is really, really good for the Dark Magician because this card is the essential Dark Magician spell card opener. I mean, you play it and it gives you 2 very, very powerful effects. It lets you sift, look at the top 3, looks for what you need. Dark Magician starts moving around, cards start getting banished. It's just a wonderful thing. One thing that I can say though is that while you do want to see this card in your opening hand, because you play 3, you cannot stack the effects. So there will be times where you might end up, using a circle to get a circle, and that basically brings Magician's Souls back to being the forefront of why it's such an important card, because it lets you draw by getting rid of excess pieces that you normally wouldn't want to see. So everything in this deck just fits together like glue. It's just wonderful. It's why I love the deck so much. So definitely go for 3. You can experiment with 2, but for right now, I have to play 3.
Yeah. So that's probably the beauty of Dark Magician. How many things do how many things?
Exactly.
Right. So it's like, yeah, you're playing 1 card, but it has 3 purposes.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
It just nothing gets in anything's way, and it's gorgeous. I'm sorry. I don't mean the gush. Now this next spell card, it just changed my life when I first read it. I didn't believe it was real until it got confirmed, and it's my favorite spell card in the entire deck. Every Dark Magician deck needs to play 3 Soul Servants. This card is so absurd, honestly. So it essentially lets you take anything with Dark Magician, including itself, Dark Magician rather, and place it on top of the deck. But the most important effect that everyone loves is the ability to draw cards and gain absurd amounts of advantage depending on what you're willing to invest, right? So going back to the cards that I had mentioned before, honestly, most people opt to play Dark Magician Girl for the sole purpose of drawing 2, a pot of grid effect. But then some people think that the Palladium Oracles can sometimes be you getting greedy. But with cards like Magician's Soul setting up your graveyard to move potential clunky hands out of the possibility of drawing, it just makes Soul Servant so much better. Because while you can let it happen naturally, there's nothing like drawing 4 cards after playing a bunch of cards.
Yeah, this isn't Uno. We like cards in this game.
Oh yeah, draw 4 is an excellent thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! And using Magician's Souls to set up your grave by moving these cards, whether you want to see them or not, into the grave early, and then just start making essential plays by moving pieces around. Honestly, Dark Magician just manipulates the deck like no other, and drawing 4 on this is potentially 12 cards, guys. It's like just 3 cards to get you 12. Amazing. So definitely have to play 3. You don't have to play the Palladium Oracles, but 3 of these is an absolute must. Next card is one of the more underrated spells that people normally opt to play 1 of. I choose to play 2, Secrets of Dark Magic. It's one of the more versatile spells in the deck. It's a quick play spell that gives you the ability to ritual or fusion summon. Nothing's more terrifying than being in a fight with a Dark Magician and then all of a sudden you just have a Dragoon ready to punch you in the face. It's sudden, you don't see it coming. You want to see more of the card, but you don't want to overload your hand, so I have to play 2. Really versatile, really amazing. Next are basically my fusion spells that I also play, aside from the card I just previously showed. And it is all reliable, Polymerization, best art for it, hands down.
Yep.
Magical Eyes Fusion, and of course, Red Eyes Fusion. So, polymerization is self-explanatory. I mean, it's literally the best way for you to play spells. I'm sorry, fusions. It's the only way to get it going, and it's a target for a dragoon. A dragoon. I'm sorry, keeper of dragon magic. They're both awesome dragon knights. I'm sorry, guys. I get confused at times. Magicalized fusion is basically like the spellcaster version of
Dragon's Mirror.
Dragon's Mirror,
Or Miracle Fusion. Or Miracle Synchro Fusion. Or, hey, remove 2, fuse.
all of the fusion cards that just use the graveyard in the best way possible. It's a good way to stack fusion plays. It's a good way to summon a really, really powerful spellcaster that I play in my fusion deck later. It's great card. I opt to play one. And of course, self-explanatory, Red Eyes Fusion. It's the easiest way to summon Dragoon. I opt to play one. Some psychopaths out there play 3, which I think is a horrible mistake. You don't want to lock yourself out of summoning, which Red Eyes Fusion does. So I have to play one simply for the engine. You don't really need more than one because...
Yeah, because, see, the thing that I kind of see is, most people play 3 because they don't want to, just outright play it. But, philosophy I have with it personally is if I draw it, I play it. If not, it gets Verde Anaconda.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's don't kill yourself over it, right? Simply put, I play Dragoon.
Yeah, basically. That's really all it is.
Right.
That, and you also don't... Honestly, the deck is so fantastic. You really don't want to focus only on Dragoon because you'll miss out on all the beauty of the deck. So you really only need one. Next card is literally the best way I can describe as pretty much the fear of God personified. I play one Eye of Timaeus. So this card is so powerful, Konami wanted to make sure that Dark Magician could not search it. Let's be real here. They knew what would happen. They knew Dark Magician players would rise up and take over the meta. So, honestly, this card is basically your... I guess you want to call it your fusion correction. There's nothing like having a Dark Magician or a girl on the field and then you don't have your pieces and this guy gets you what you need. So, you can't search him. So, you don't really want to have 3 because I feel like you'll see too many times, and since you already play so many other essential spells. So I basically just played it 1 to get you those things that you need.
Okay. It's always a good card to have.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to play it. I would say you can dabble with it at 1.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Next card is... Honestly, it's self-explanatory. Dark Magic Attack.
Yeah, Dark Magician's Feather Duster for the people that don't know what this is.
I mean, we all like Harpy's Feather Duster, right? So why not have a Harpy's Feather Duster that you can literally search and reuse over and over again? And what I mean is because, remember, it has Dark Magician in the text. So Soul Servant literally gives you the ability to play this card as many times as you want by just sending it back into the deck. Ridiculous. Definitely try to play it in 1 if you can find the room. And, every beginning duelist staple, Monster Reborn. I mean, I don't have to explain this. It's Monster Reborn.
Yeah, this is kind of like a flex pick. If you have something that you prefer, maybe in a Lore of Darkness,
yeah, of
Foolish
course.
Burial Goods, some kind of tech
something
card.
More utility.
This is really good, to replace with. But Monster Reborn is also really strong, too.
Yeah. I mean, hey. So, I just dabble in 1. Moving on to the traps. So this card, unfortunately, is seeing less and less play, but I still find use for it. I suggest you guys also give it a shot if you have the room. I play 1 Magician's Navigation. So when Dark Magician first kind of saw a lot of its support, this card was a bit more essential because it summons Dark Magician and gets a free spellcaster, but it still has its uses now with that last little bit of text to let you negate. It's good discard fodder if Dark Magician is on the field because it gives you that ability to get surprise control. So it's not super powerful, but a surprise negate is always good.
Yeah.
So...
Well, realistically, if you have this in hand when you have Dragoon on board, that's like a double negate. With the exception of, when it gets sent to the graveyard, being able to negate a spell or trap that your opponent plays is just... There's no other requirement. You don't even need to be controlling a Dark Magician. It's just like,
exactly.
I don't like that. No.
You know, and then there's so many people who don't read their cards and don't look at graveyards. So, you know, it's always nice to see that little vein pop in your opponent's forehead when you go, oh, negate.
Right.
You know? So, I tried one. It's good to have. So, next card, I'll dare say, back in the day and even up to now, is the Heart and Soul, yeah, right, of the deck. Is Eternal Soul. So, you know, for my manga readers out there, I know you recognize this image. This card is so ridiculously simple and so ridiculously powerful. Basically, this card basically turns your Dark Magician into practically Superman, because while it's there, he's unaffected by anything, and lets you bring back Dark Magician once at least every turn. So that simple lockdown of circle and this just constant banishing can drive your opponent crazy. And as a matter of fact, when combo with a specific Dark Magician fusion, that fusion actually can become even more deadlier than Dragoon. So I'll get that in a moment. But you want to see this card in your opening hand, so I have to play 3. This will definitely change with future support. Magician's Salvation, I'm coming for you. But you definitely want to play this at 3. The last bit is tech choices. I opt to choose 2 Solemn Strikes. I used to want to play it at 3. I used to want to play Solemn Judgment, but monster effects are super prevalent nowadays, so this card definitely gets the job done. If you can fit in your deck, definitely. So I would say 3, but for right now, 2 is a pretty good number. The last 2 cards is mostly due to the fact that some of us, after buying Magician Souls, is kind of broke. But it's still a pretty solid card. I basically play 2 Crackdowns. So, I mean, it's a simple card. You know, you basically take your opponent's monster. It loses the ability to battle, and you can't activate its effects, but it becomes link fodder. It becomes a nice disruption. It's not too bad to have, but, you know, if you don't have any other options. So you can take your opponent's monster, Phantom Steve style. So
right. So I mean, this is a good option, and even if you like had something like Infinite Impermanence or Dragon's Ice Prison, this isn't a bad choice.
Yeah, it's
right. Like
not.
it definitely has its uses, and then paired with something like the Dark Magicians, where you draw it and then set it, and you can just steal an opponent's monster immediately. Like
that is hilarious.
Yes. So like, don't sleep on this card. That's the main thing.
Definitely. So if you get a chance to try it out, you'll have a lot of fun.
All right, now to the Faded 15.
So moving on to the, I don't know, I guess the meat and potatoes of most of your plays. All right, so if this isn't already obvious, so like I said, some of us are broke in these streets, so for now, all I have is 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. He's one of the main boss monsters of the deck. As far as Dark Magician support is concerned, he's, you know, Big Daddy. But, he's a wonderful card, but a warning to most Dark Magician players, do not lose yourself in believing that this is the best and only way to play Dark Magician, because while he is extremely powerful, I feel that focusing on him too much takes away from the actual ability to play your deck, because it's real easy to forget how to play your deck if you rely too much on 1 card. I would, if I had a playset, I'd play 2, but for right now I have 1. Definitely good for the deck. Next card is a fusion that I honestly believe is extremely underrated. I play tested Batoni. He showed me how ridiculously powerful this card can be for gaining advantage, and I need another one as well. But the most creatively named card in the entire support, the Dark Magician.
They really overdid it with the part, right? Like,
I mean,
like
seriously.
we knew it was Dark Magicians because it was more than 1, but crazy, right?
So this card essentially turns every single spell and trap activated once per turn into an upstart goblin without giving your opponent 1,000 life points. And it doesn't sound like much, but there's a reason why upstart goblin is limited to 1, okay? There's so many, like, drawing cards is nice, right? This is Yu-Gi-Oh! So the ability to not only play cards, control the field, and draw while you're doing that. And the best part is you get to set that card if you want to. And sometimes surprise the hell out of your opponent sometimes. This card is beautiful. And it floats. It dies, you get Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from literally anywhere but the Banish Zone.
Like, everything floats.
Everything floats. Everything floats in Dark Magician, guys. It's beautiful. It's this card is just amazing. And anyone
I think I need to get Pennywise sleeves.
Right? Anyone who sleeps on this card,
please stop.
You're not that guy. Like, you know, if you're a Dark Magician player and you don't appreciate this card, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. So, moving on, you know, again, budget choices, you know, broken all that. Dark Cavalry, honestly, this is my stand-in for the second Dragoon. It has really good protection effect. If it's targeted, it allows you to get a negate. You know, you'd figure nowadays nobody targets, but even that effect can be really, really overbearing. I mean, if I got a Dragoon, I would replace this because Omnigates are better, but this is a very good stand-in for you budget players, so it's a great card to have. Next card is another underrated fusion, in my opinion, in the form of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This card is so powerful, but no one ever gives it credit. Combining this card with Eternal Soul turns Dark Magician into... He's invincible.
Yeah, he quickly goes from, like, Superman to Omni-Man.
Like, I mean, and then everyone is just Mark. Like, think, guys. Just think, Mark. Like, so, this card is so good. While it's on the field, it becomes Dark Magician. So, cards like the Eye of Timaeus easily turn this card into a big utility piece. And you can move this just like Dark Magician for the sole purpose of bringing it back to banish cards and get your destruction. It's a wonderful card to have. Definitely a good one of. Next fusion is the Hail Mary of the deck. People think you won't summon it, but you definitely can. Quintet Magician. So you really only need one because you're not going to summon it more than once. But thanks to cards like, you know, Magician Souls, it's so easy to just keep loading your graveyard with all these different spellcasters, including Souls itself. And then one Magicalized Fusion, and suddenly it's...
Armageddon.
Like, seriously. Like, great card to have. Ridiculously high attack points.
Yep, this is Dark Eye's Ultimate Magician.
I mean, basically. Like, just an amazing card to have. So, good one of.
He has a lot of defense, too. Holy hell.
Yeah, right.
45. I never noticed the defense.
Actually, now that you mention it, I didn't notice it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, next are the Xyz monsters. They're mostly all tech choices, and they are Naruto the Moral Leader, Ebon Illusion Magician, and number 11 Big Eye. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, Naruto the Moral Leader is more of a utility choice because while he does give you the ability to negate spells or traps, he also provides you good ability to rank up by using Ebon Illusion Magician. So he gives you the ability to summon Dark Magician and start banishing without Circle. And it also lets you stack a bunch of spellcasters on the field, so that way you can send them later for
Quintet
Magician.
Yep.
And number 11 Big Eye, he's really good rank 7 fodder. For, like, you know, simple effect, takes your opponent's monster. Really, I use him more of an extender to take opponent's pieces to use for links.
Right, so he's like disruption and extending. It's kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
So far, you have 3 cards in your deck that take your opponent's stuff, and I'm going to just start telling you, play your own cards, damn it.
I mean, hey, if I take them, they're my cards, right? But yeah, so simple package is good to try.
All right.
So, last few cards are links. So, We all can't play Karibo in the deck trying to be Yugi, but you can play Link Karibo. Simple card. You know, you basically have Magician Souls and the ability to push summon it to the field. So this is excellent defense to have. Not too complicated. Next card, I basically play over most people who play Link Spider. I choose a card I can actually use in the form of Imduke. Real good card to have. Normal monster as a material. Move Dark Magician to the graveyard if you don't have all your other pieces. And it's a dragon. So you can use it for any other fusion that Dark Magician requires that needs a dragon.
Which includes both Dragoon and the Dragonite. And if you're feeling a little sassy, I think Dark Magician Girl has a fusion as well.
She absolutely does.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, we don't speak about that one.
Yeah. But moving along. So next card is a personal favorite of mine. And another reason why I'm broke is just beautiful. I honestly just call him my dad at this point.
Oh, yo.
I'm sorry. Soldier of Chaos is a wonderful card, and there's a reason why it is as expensive as it is. So, really powerful effects. Defeats anything in battle. You can either become a Blue-Eyed Ultimate Dragon, attack twice the next turn, either after becoming a Blue-Eyed Ultimate Dragon or just to bully your opponent, or non-targeting banishment. Horrifying. Really freaking horrifying. Like, holy shit. So, and if you use a level 7 monster to summon him, he basically becomes almost completely immune to destruction, but word of warning, again, playing Tony. So, he can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects if you do that, but he can be destroyed by your own. So the last thing you want to do is use Dark Magician to summon him, and then suddenly your opponent just used Mystical Space Typhoon and, in 2021, destroy your Eternal Soul, and then he just blows up.
I think I used Harpy's Hunting Ground for
it. Was Harpy's Hunting Ground. It was the worst feeling. Oh my god. But yeah. So keep that in mind when you play him. Powerful card. Very, very temperamental.
Right. He's only this vulnerable in Dark Magician, though, because of Eternal Soul.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, but keep them in mind of your own cards. Next, our version of
Halki Fibrax.
Needle Fiber. Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians. So, while she doesn't necessarily give you the ability to summon cards from the deck, because everything is sifting into the graveyard, she basically brings it back for if you just have 3 spells. Good extension into your rank 4 plays, or just bring back any powerful spellcaster like Dragoon or Dark Magician. Really good extender, really good utility card.
And she has really good arrows.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's all pointing to you. She's greedy.
Really good arrows.
But yeah, great card. Again, I played Dragoon.
No explanation needed.
There's no explanation. You literally use him, you drop the card, Dragoon is here.
Yeah, just ban this card already.
I mean, seriously, this card...
ban this card.
I mean, while I do think this card and its own is extremely toxic for the game because of what it enables you to do with Dragoon, until this card gets banned and Dragoon stays, safely in my extra deck without worrying about getting banned, I'm just using it for what it's for, honestly. So, yeah. And then these last 2 cards is like the brother and sister of the extra deck, and honestly, they're actually kind of mean together. And that is IP Masquerena and, of course, Avermax. So, everyone knows IP Masquerena is just one of the best Link monsters to have because she basically gives you a Formula Synchron-like effect, right? But passing on that effect to a guy who literally bullies you on the field is just a horrible combination. This card was basically the Soldier of Chaos Dragoon baby before these cards actually existed.
Yeah.
I mean, giving protection to a guy who not only forces you to battle him while he's on the field and nothing else, has an honest effect when he does battle. And if you somehow manage to get past all of that ridiculous stackage, he has the nerve to flip something back to your hand if he somehow leaves the field. just absurd, completely absurd level of card design there. So definitely, these two are indispensable to me.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremiah, for allowing me to record this deck profile. I know it's been a long time coming. I look forward to seeing updates from you, hopefully in the near future.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching this channel. Jeremiah, you can take it away.
All right, well, I'm really glad I got a chance to show off my deck. If you guys, like the video, like, comment, and subscribe to Tony's channel. And comment down below and let us know two things. One, just tell them my art is better, honestly. Come on, guys. it's just, come on, it's gorgeous. And if you like the content, just let me also know if you guys want to see future content, and I'll use my Dark Magician deck to go on a crusade and take over the the dueling world.
Well, at least in Binghamton. All right, guys, you have a good one.